Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So in this video, I'm going to do a reply video. I'm going to be watching the video that I'm going to be replying my answers to on my iPhone. So therefore, I don't get any strikes or whatever on my YouTube page. The video, and I'm telling you who I'm replying. I'm replying to Being British, Joel and Leah. So, here we go.
Hi, and welcome back to Joel and Leah.
This week we've got 10 questions that Brits have for Americans or America in general.
So let's kick it off with the first question.
Cheese. This is a big thing because in the UK, cheese is massive. We love cheese.
And so do Americans, but Americans seem to have what we would call fake cheese.
Orange, plasticky stuff.
In a can.
Cheese in a can, cheese in plastic wrappers that you just like put on a burger and hope that it melts somehow.
But when we look at cheese, it's like an actual block of cheese, and you get your knife into it, and it's cheese.
Or you get a slice and you like slice the cheese up into bits.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's so nice. We love cheese. But I'm just like, why don't you have it? Because you would like it more than that plastic fake stuff. You would.
Yeah. It's only really fake cheese you ever see in America.
Yeah.
Contact.
Okay, to answer the first question, now I'm not much of a cheese person, but I'm really not. But there is real cheese in America, except it's made by private-owned companies. It's not real cheese in America. It's not made by the companies that are owned by the GMO food industry. Now, GMO food is not bad, and that's what a good majority of the cheese is made from. It's genetically modified organisms that cheese cells, essentially, and they make the fake, what you call plastic stuff, and it's more accessible, more affordable for people. Because in the United States, people have pretty much part-time jobs. If not part-time jobs, they have full-time jobs, and then that don't pay well. So good quality cheese is not something that most Americans can afford. So they do buy what you call the fake stuff. And is it fake stuff? I agree it is. But if you go to wine and cheese parties, they have the real stuff there, and they have cheese cubed up with toothpicks, and then you're just drinking wine and, talking with people. Now, personally, for me, I love wine. I'm not much of a cheese person. I already mentioned that. But people like doing that stuff. To me, it's quite boring. But yeah, that's to answer your question about cheese. It's more affordable to make stuff that looks like fake cheese by genetically modifying it instead of putting the real stuff on the market, which is more expensive and that people really can't afford because they got to pay the bills. They got to all the stuff,
Contactless is huge over here. Everywhere you go, just use your debit card, and it's like beep, 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 and you pay for stuff, and it's like a £30 limit on what you can purchase.
Yeah.
Contactless everywhere.
Yeah.
Why haven't you got that?
It's crazy. When I last went to America, you only just had chip and pin. Isn't that insane?
It's
Where
mental.
you put your card into the machine and type in your PIN number, you were still having to sign for things.
That was like 10 years ago, and then when chip and pin came, it's like, okay, this is a little bit more convenient, but still irritating. Like, you have to pick a card and you have to wait.
Yeah.
And you've got to put your number in, then you have to wait.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just beep.
It's amazing. And Apple Pay on your phone. So America must have it because Apple is an American brand.
Yeah.
But now I've registered my card with my phone, so I can just hold my phone over the card
NFC,
machine.
nice. Yeah.
It gets my fingerprint and goes, ding, you paid. Like, keep up with the times, America. You invented lots of this technology anyway.
Yeah,
So.
but why don't you implement it? I find it so bizarre. I was doing some shopping yesterday, and a girl was paying at like a self-service checkout next to me, and she like swiped her card, and I was like, what on earth? And then the shop assistant was like, oh no, is that an American card? She was like, yeah, and there's a massive queue, and everyone was just like eye rolling, like you're just wasting everyone's time. So yeah, contactless,
Life changing.
life changing.
We do have contactless cards in America. We do. They're called PayPal. PayPal cards are let me get my keys and show you what they're like. This is my library card, but yeah, this is what PayPal cards are like. They go on your keychain, and it's a credit card, so there's a barcode on the back, and all the important information like the card number is on the back as well, and it's also within the barcode, so there's no card number right there. And yeah, you basically, as you guys do over there, you do that with PayPal. Ding, and then you move along. But yes, a lot of people use the chip system. To me, it's a pain in the ass because if the chip machine doesn't work, then you got to swipe it. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass with credit cards here. But we also have a thing here called Giant Pay, Walmart Pay, where you put a certain amount of money onto your phone. And what you do is, or your store account, you basically put a certain amount of money on your store account where you shop most frequently, and you go log on to the store's your account on the store's website, and then a barcode will pop up, which is your Walmart Pay or your Target Pay or whatever pay for whatever store, and then you just scan it and then you go off. But yeah, we do have contactless cards, and we do have contactless systems. But a lot of people just use credit cards, regular plain credit cards, in this country still.
This is a hard one. Guns. Come on, guys.
We still don't understand why guns are a thing. Like, why is it so easy to buy a gun in America?
It's ridiculous.
We have a law against guns in the UK, and we have a lot less gun crime.
Well, it worked out proportionally, so it's not even like, oh, you're a smaller country than us, that's why you gun crime. Because they've done it as in proportionally to our population.
Yeah.
We just have virtually no gun crime whatsoever.
No.
This gun control works in the UK, it works in Australia, it works in loads of other countries. So you can see that it works, so why wouldn't you do it? Like,
Yeah.
well, I know it's to do with like laws and constitutions and all these things, but I'm just like, come on,
And we-
people's lives are more important.
Yeah, we love America, but that's just one thing. That's just like, that would be one thing. That would be the reason why I couldn't live there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm allowed in, but if I was to move there for any reason, I wouldn't. That would really, like, I'd live there.
Yeah, oh, it's scary. It's insane.
That's mental. It's so hard to get hold of a gun in England.
Yeah,
I've not tried. I just know that it's hard.
but I think you can, but yeah, you have to have a license, and it has to be for like farming purposes, and it has to be like locked away in a cabinet in your house. You absolutely cannot carry it with you.
No way.
Like, ridiculous.
Yeah. So the next one is.
To answer the question about guns, this is a bit of a doozy, but anyway, here it is. Okay, you're asking why we don't have a system like you guys have in Britain or like people have in Australia. Simple reason. America's too big of a country to have a gun law like that. And I know those gun laws work for your countries like Britain and Australia because of, as you said, the proportional sizes. Because Australia and Britain are proportionally smaller than the United States is. So therefore, those gun laws work there. However, in America, United States more specifically, is extremely, obviously, it's larger. So therefore, any restrictive gun laws that are really uber restrictive, people sell on the black market online. And this causes a problem. And this is why we can never have a gun laws like you guys have in Britain, like people have in Australia. We can't have a gun law like that in this country because it would make shit more dangerous. The question really isn't about guns; it's about mental health. Because guns in and of themselves are not dangerous. They're just a piece of machinery. They're steel, essentially. They can't harm anybody in and of themselves. It takes someone who's crazy enough to use that weapon against other people who've done nothing wrong. But mental health is really the question here in America. It's not the guns per se, it's mental health. But to go further upon that question, you touched on something which is very interesting. When you mention about purchasing how it's easy, that's a state-by-state case. See, each state is a little bit different. Most states in the United States, if you want to buy a BB gun, whether it be a BB rifle or a BB airsoft gun, you could buy that without a gun license because BB guns are not classified as a dangerous weapon. What do BB guns fire? I have a BB gun myself. But what do BB guns fire? Little pellets. These little pellets can't do any harm to anybody, so they're not classified as a gun that you need a license for. Yet, if you're talking about a handgun and stuff like that, yeah, you do need a license for it. But why are guns such a big deal in America? Well, that mainly is boiled down to we have a lot of farms in America. America has a lot of farmland. America has a lot of farmers, whether they be Amish, whether they be Quaker, whether they be Christian, Jewish, German, whatever. There's a lot of farmers in America. And I know Quakers don't have guns, but they do have a form of a self-defense weapon if anybody tries to invade their house. I believe they use steel rods because they don't kill people. They just whack them out, give them a big concussion, but it's nothing lethal. But German farmers, Dutch farmers have guns, Jewish farmers have guns, Christian farmers have guns, because they live in areas where there's a lot of crime. In farm country, there's a lot of crime, so they have guns to protect themselves and protect their homes, protect their animals from either wild wolves or wild creatures like snakes, rats, you name it, that could affect their crops or affect their animals. Especially, they have guns to protect themselves against intruders who try to break into their house, because people that tried to run away from federal troops like the FBI, federal police, I should say, they think that farmhouses are empty because they think nobody farms anymore. And so therefore they break into these houses and there's families in there. So therefore that's why they have guns. But it's mainly because Rust Belt areas are mainly farmland, and they need weapons to protect themselves because they're miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away from any professional help in the United and from instead of people who live in a town or city, they're miles and miles away from help, so they need guns to protect themselves. As you mentioned, like farmers in Britain have guns to protect themselves because they're miles away from help. So that same reason they have them here in America, but that's why they're so big, because there's a lot of farmland in the United States.
Do with exercise and particularly walking. So we love walking over here. Everyone walks. You know, I remember we used to walk to school. And then, yeah, okay, we've got a smaller country, but there's always
Paths.
everywhere,
Sidewalks.
or a sidewalk. Sidewalk.
Sounds wicked in our accent.
Yeah, sidewalk. Why don't people walk that much in America?
I think gas is really cheap over there for them.
Right.
So in terms of expense, you're like, well, why don't I? It's like petrol's really cheap.
Yeah.
But again, that's not taking into account the effects on the environment. But again, that probably more applies to slightly more rural areas. I'm sure if we went to a big city, there'd be more.
Yeah. Okay, this one's
Actually, you're wrong about walking in America. A lot of people walk to their jobs in more smaller rural areas and smaller towns, smaller cities than drive. I walk a lot of places. I walk to the library predominantly. I walk to places if I want to eat somewhere, which is very rare that I eat out by myself. But I like to walk a lot of places. I like to take morning walks sometimes. However, walking in general, a lot of people that are in smaller areas walk. People that live in more bigger cities, bigger metropolises like New York, Los Angeles drive more. And gas is not cheap in this country. Gas is pretty expensive. Gas can range from $2.50 a gallon to $3.05 a gallon. It's pretty expensive in this country. But there are cars that have a bigger impact on the environment, and it's not regular cars, it's hybrids. It's so-called environmental friendly cars that have a bigger impact on the environment negatively instead of regular cars that just run on gasoline. Because, this is a little diving off the subject, but with a hybrid car, when it's not running on battery, when it's running on gasoline, the gas is being pumped out of the car more than it is when you're driving a car that solely runs on gasoline by itself. So yeah, battery/gasoline automated cars do more harm for the environment than regular gasoline cars do.
Yeah, it's the toilets in America, public toilets or public bathrooms or restrooms. Why is there such big gaps in between doors and above and below the door?
As a short woman, it
Yeah.
sort of makes me uneasy. But the gaps.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
no, I wouldn't be able
Insane.
to go to the loo.
No. Well, I can I can have no words because there's no privacy in public toilets. You literally all you want to do is just take a peaceful poo, and you can't. You panic because someone's waiting for the toilet and they can see you through the gap, and you're sat there like,
Oh my
when are
gosh.
they going to leave?
Surely that's like really embarrassing. Has anyone had any embarrassing moments where they're just on the loo and they're just making eye contact with someone who's waiting?
Yeah, let us know in the comments because I know I've seen a video from an American being like, your public toilets are like private rooms, and I'm like, yeah, because you're doing something private in there.
Yeah.
Let us know if that's a thing that you've noticed or if you're used to pooing in front of people.
If you're used to the performance of it.
I try not to use public restrooms as much as possible when I'm out. I try to not use them as much as possible because yeah, I mean, your description of bathroom stalls in this country are pretty much accurate. There's pretty much no privacy except for maybe the handicapped ones. But yeah, you're pretty much right when it comes to the public restrooms. Most Americans in general don't like using the public restrooms, men and women alike. That's why in the restrooms in America they have what looks like tissue paper. It's tissue paper that's designed to fit the toilet seat, so you don't have to sit on other bodily fluids that might have been left behind. As disgusting as that is, there are some people that miss the toilet. Why? I have no fucking idea. But yeah, I quite agree with you. It's like, yeah, there's no privacy. That's why I tend to hold everything until I get home.
Everyone is healthcare. As you may or may not know, in England, in the UK, we have the NHS, and that means free healthcare for everyone who is a taxpayer here, which is basically everyone. If you need medical attention, you'll get it. Yes, you might have to wait a little bit of a while unless your case is urgent, but you'll get seen to and you'll be looked after for free because it's included in the tax we pay to our government. In America, if you get ill, if you get seriously ill, that could cost you and your family, your house, all your savings, thousands, I was about to say pounds, obviously dollars, and that is just devastating.
Yeah, well, we made a video about it, so if you're really interested, click the card in the top right corner or in the description below, we'll link it down there as well. Lots of the comments from Americans there were actually really sad, like people saying how much money it's cost them, like if their child's been ill, and they've got insurance, but they still have to pay like $3,000 up front before they can get treatment or claim any money back. And it's like, it's just really sad.
So if you are interested in hearing a bit more about the healthcare system we have over here, just click the NHS video there.
So the next...
Yeah, the healthcare in this country is pretty shitty. But yet, no government politician in America will want to help anybody that actually needs help. A lot of the people that need help are veterans and the elderly. A lot of veterans in America are homeless. 1% of America's population is in the military. So that comes out to 73.6% of America's population that's homeless military veterans that need help medically and mentally. But you also have the elderly who need more help than younger people do. But yet you also have kids in this country who have cancer, stuff like that. So the healthcare system really sucks here. I agree, it does. And there's no words to explain how bad it fucking sucks. But we have something that's kind of like the healthcare system you have in Britain, kind of like the healthcare system in Canada, and it's called Medicaid. So Medicaid essentially is that your state that you live in, or the federal government, depending on the size of the issue, pays for the majority of your medical bills, and therefore you don't have to pay much at all, and it doesn't even cost you anything. That is if you're like very low income. If you're not low income and you can't afford health care, it sucks. Excuse me. Yeah, but it sucks if you can't afford healthcare in this country. It's devastating in some cases. Some governors don't give a shit about people's health, and well, obviously Flint, Michigan, obviously the state of Indiana, thanks to fucking Vice President Mike Pence. There was another statewide AIDS epidemic there, but then that stopped when the Republican that replaced Mike Pence got in. He funded AIDS research again, and he funded the two Planned Parenthoods that Mike Pence closed down. So, yeah, not all Republicans are bad.
One is vegetarianism. Why aren't many of you guys vegetarians?
So veganism and vegetarianism is really taking off in England, particularly in London. And I think one thing that prompted this was Netflix documentaries such as What the Hell, Cowspiracy, all of those kind of things. And these documentaries have really sort of opened everybody's eyes, over here certainly, to the dangers of meat. And not just what it's doing to the planet, but what it's doing to your body.
Yeah.
The dairy industry, the agricultural industry, what these companies are doing and how they're working with fund to fund their ideas and make us think that we need these products.
Well, our government do it as well, like telling us that we need meat, we need dairy.
Yeah.
And all of this is actually false. And
Yeah.
fair enough, if you want to eat meat, I've got nothing against that. We have meat occasionally.
Yeah.
But I do think that everyone should be cutting down the amount of meat they have.
Yeah.
You don't have to give it up, but just everyone should be aware that the impact it's having.
If everyone ate less meat, we would definitely live in a healthier world and it would be saving so many people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we're not seeing something. Let us know in the comments.
The next one.
Yeah. Here's why most Americans are not vegetarians. We are, I mentioned this already when I talked about the gun issue, but it applies with food too. We are a very, very, very farmland country in America. So in the United States more specifically. And so there's two types of farms here. There's farms where animals are raised to be slaughtered, and then there's farms where animals are raised to live, where they are utilized instead of farm tools like tractors and plows and all that, where the animals are a major help on the farm. So the farms that do not kill their animals, they don't have specific setups. The farms that do raise animals to slaughter have to do slaughtering humanely. There's been a couple of these farms that have been caught doing this stuff inhumanely, and that's caused a problem for them. But here's another reason why America, and I do have an issue with you quoting What the Health and Cowspiracy here. And the reason why, and the reason my main issue with this is that, number one, cow farts are worse for the environment than gasoline is. Cow farts have cow farts are made of methane. Methane is bad for the environment. So if we didn't kill any cows, if we didn't control the population of cows in the world, trust me, we would be living in a very, very, very poor environmental system. And What the Health is dangerously false. It's made by people who haven't done proper research on anything. One of the doctors in there made a complete false lie that a real doctor reacted to when he mentioned that diabetes is caused by fat. It's not. America is, I think, the second largest country with diabetes patients, and diabetes is sugar related. It's sugar related. It's not fat related. It's how your body intakes it. What the Health is dangerously false, and I like you guys, I do, but I advise you not to recommend it to anybody that really wants to improve their health in a good way. People should see a nutritionist if they want to do that, because What the Health is a very dangerous thing that's going to make a lot of people sick. And also, not one diet is good for people. Like, not one specific diet is going to be good for people. Like you guys mentioned that you eat meat on occasion. I eat meat mostly every day. Some days I skip, some days I eat, some days I skip. But a carnivore diet works for me. A carnivore diet is something that keeps my high metabolism the way it is. And I don't think if we ate less meat that we will live in a healthier society, because just my opinion, when it comes to a strict diet like vegetarianism or veganism, it can become very unhealthy if you're not supplementing stuff like omega-3s and stuff like that, your vitamin D levels, your vitamin B levels, your vitamin C levels, stuff that you do find in things like dairy and stuff like meat. If you do not supplement them as a vegetarian or vegan, you are doing your body damage. And this is why I highly suggest, if you want to learn how to be a vegetarian or vegan the right way and the healthy way, Cowspiracy and What the Health, trust me, are not great sources to get information from. And most Americans like eating heavier, junkier foods. This could be why we're one of the fattest nations, but I highly doubt it. There are fat people, there are skinny people, and there are a lot of skinny people I know who eat like a fat person. There are a lot of fat people I know who eat like a skinny person and still gain weight. So, yeah. That's why most Americans are not vegetarians, because we love to eat meat. We love to eat whatever we want to. And we know what works for us.
Why is your legal age for drinking alcohol 21? Come on!
And is it 21 for buying as well?
Or, yeah, I think so, yeah.
So here, you can drink alcohol with parental supervision from age 5, which is hilarious.
It's so funny.
I mean, obviously, I didn't get sort of drunk until I was, say, 17, 18.
Yeah.
But honestly, all it meant was that I wasn't sort of didn't break any rules or trying to go out or do anything silly to feel those things.
Yeah.
Just like controlled environment, had a couple of drinks and some food.
So I think it makes it a thing if your parents are like, no, you can't have alcohol.
Yeah.
Because my parents, I'd have like shandy, like beer with some lemonade from like 12, 13 or something. And it just made it not a thing. It was just like, yeah, you can have some alcohol if you want, but like,
Yeah. I think my dad bought me sort of drinking Sambuca when I was like 11, and he was like, you used to like dip your finger in and just get the
That's
Sambuca,
so
and I
funny.
was like, obviously I wanted the booze.
yeah, Sambuca's great.
Oh, it's
I
lovely,
love
isn't
it.
it?
But anyway, give 18-year-olds a bit of fun. Lower the drinking age.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was lovely, and it just meant that, like, you know, we could sort of handle our alcohol a bit more.
Yeah. I mean, we can't.
I mean, yeah.
After like 2 drinks,
we're
we're
a
like,
different
wasted.
breed. We're a different breed, we're Joe. But the majority of
The other
drinks.
day, you had like 3 drinks and you woke up the next morning and you're like, I'm hungover. I was like, you had 3 drinks.
Oh gosh, that was bad. I had more. I was mixing.
Yeah.
I feel like when I've been to America.
Why is the drinking age 21? Well, I've always made the argument that we should lower it in this country. If you could buy a gun at 18, if you could join the military at 18, if you can vote at 18, you should be able to drink at 18. However, there's a reason why it's 21, and it's mainly due to brain development. Your brain fully develops by the age of 21, and if you're drinking alcohol at a younger age, like 16, 17, 18, at a very younger age, it can stunt the full development of the brain. Your brain isn't in complete development when you're a teenager. So therefore, when after Prohibition happened, after the 10-year span of time where alcohol was illegal to buy, people were buying it like crazy, and teenagers, young kids were buying alcohol like crazy. And there was Congress got together in, I believe, 1933 and made the age limit legally 21. I could be wrong with it was either 33 or 31, but they got together and bipartisanly agreed to make the age limit 21 because there were kids dying of alcohol poisoning. And and adults can really handle and understand liquor better than kids can. So therefore, that's why it's 21. Even though I still like to entertain the idea that we should lower the drinking age to 18, I entertain the idea mentally, but I understand why it's 21 because it's honestly safer to wait till you're 21 to drink legally. Illegal drinking can have detrimental effects on your health more than eating a hamburger can.
America, the people that greet you when you walk into a shop,
Oh yeah.
I feel like they're a bit over-animated and a little bit fake.
Oh, they're like, hey, how are you?
How's your day? How's it going? And sometimes you just don't want to be spoken to. Like, it makes me feel like I should leave their shop. It doesn't make you want to go into their shop and look around. It's like, hey, how's your day? I'm like, oh my God, leave me alone. Like, just pretend I'm invisible. Don't look at me. I don't want to be looked at. I don't want to be spoken to. If I need your help, I'll come and find you and I'll say, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Part of me doesn't know if it's because they want to deter shoplifters, so they're like, I see you. Like, as soon as you walk in,
right.
I know you're in here. Or if it's just like, they think that we want to be spoken to.
To me, it feels like autopilot. Like, hi, I'm getting paid to say this.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's your job. If you've been told to do that, then you've got a block that. But maybe try and be a bit more sincere.
Darling, come on in. Come on.
You love stripes. You love stripes. Look perfect.
I know Americans don't like that about us because they're used to that other way around.
I worked in customer service, so I know what you're talking about. I know a lot of people that were like, hey, welcome. I'll use the store's name where I worked. Welcome to Boscov's. How's your day? I know there's a lot of people like that. Trust me, it really annoyed me. But I wasn't, the type of person to go, hey, how's your day? I could tell there were chatty customers, right? So I knew to talk to them. But I knew there were people that just wanted to get what they wanted and to go. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean when it comes to customer service in this country. But yet, customer service in this country is overly anime in some stores. Not hunting stores, not stores like Cabela's, not stores like Bass Pro Shops, nothing like that. Or Dick's Sporting Goods store. No, the customer service there is over exaggerated. It's over exaggerated at Home Depot. It's over exaggerated at Walmart. It's over exaggerated at Target. It's over exaggerated at Spencer's Gifts. And just specific stores where it's over exaggerated, not. But yeah. I completely understand what you mean with the over-exaggeration of customer service.
I think we're a bit rude. Yeah, the service is quite rude in the UK. That's just because we like a bit of space. And the final one is passports. Apparently, something like 14% of Americans have passports. So the rest of the country doesn't own passports.
Yeah, so what are the rest of you? I mean,
what are the rest of you doing? I think it's because, and I'm going to answer this question anyway.
Okay.
I feel like it's because America's such a big country that lots of people go on vacation. What's it called? Staycation.
What's a staycation?
Where you stay in the country.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's nice, but if I was forced to do all my holidays in the UK, I'd just be like, oh, what a peasant life.
What a peasant life.
Oh, no,
Zoe, and you feel like you're in a different country and vice versa. Maybe that's why.
Let us know in the comments.
Well, yeah, pretty much you hit the nail on the head with that question. Yeah, it's true. Roughly around 14% people have passports in this country, whether it's for business or for pleasure. But just in general, though, yeah, you're right. America's a big country, and so therefore, there's a lot of things to do in this country in general. There's Mount Rushmore, there's California, there's Texas, which you can make a whole year vacation out of. There's Florida, there's Minnesota, there's Arkansas. There's a lot of states in this country which a lot of Americans can really make a lot of their vacations out of. I would like to travel out of the US, but passports are expensive. And that's another reason why most Americans don't have passports, because passports are expensive. People think, oh, it's only $100 to get a passport. The initial price of a passport is $100, but you need to get an FBI background check done to make sure that you're not hiding a secret identity. And then when you're not hiding a secret identity, you're done at the DMV for your passport, and you need to have a certain specific ticket ordered in order to get the photo done. And roughly a whole passport in general is like probably around $115 or $120 because you got to pay for the FBI background check as well. But yeah, and passports are expensive. They're not cheap. People that can afford a passport in this country, I highly suggest get one. But most Americans can't afford them because they're too damn expensive. So yeah. No, that was the answering the questions to Joel and Leah's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.